History has seen many cruel rulers, but few were as terrifying as Vlad the Impaler, a man whose enemies were not simply killed. They were impaled alive on giant wooden stakes. Entire fields were filled with screaming victims, slowly dying for hours, sometimes even days. Some historians claim that 20,000 people were once found impaled outside a single city. This is the chilling story of the ruler who turned fear itself into a weapon. The story begins in 1431 in the small Eastern European principality of Wallachia. Vlad was born into a noble family. His father, Vlad the Dracula, ruled the land and was part of a powerful knightly order. But politics in medieval Europe were brutal. To secure loyalty, Vlad and his younger brother were sent as hostages to the powerful Ottoman Empire. During those years of captivity, Vlad witnessed harsh punishments, torture, and executions. Many historians believe these experiences shaped the terrifying ruler he would later become. By 1456, Vlad returned to his homeland. But he was no longer the frightened boy who had been taken hostage. He was now a hardened warrior, hungry for power and revenge. After defeating his rivals, Vlad became the Prince of Wallachia. But Vlad ruled differently from other kings. He believed fear was the strongest form of control, and he was about to prove it. Vlad's favorite method of execution was horrifying. Victims were forced on a long wooden stakes that were slowly pushed through their bodies. The stake would pierce through the body and emerge near the shoulders or mouth. The victim would then be raised upright, still alive, sometimes suffering for hours or even days before dying. This brutal method earned him the nickname, Vlad the Impaler. One of the most shocking events in Vlad's rule happened during a war with the powerful Ottoman ruler, Mehmed II. When the Ottoman army approached Vlad's territory, they encountered a horrifying sight. Outside the city stood a massive field filled with thousands of impaled bodies. Men, women, soldiers, criminals. Some historians describe it as a forest made entirely of the dead. It was later known as the Forest of the Impaled. Even hardened soldiers were horrified. Under Vlad's rule, crime nearly disappeared. Not because people respected him, but because they feared him. Thieves, traitors, and enemies were all punished the same way. Impaling. According to legends, Vlad once placed a golden cup in the middle of a public square. Anyone could drink from it, but no one dared steal it, because everyone knew the punishment. But even the most feared rulers eventually faced their end. In 1462, Vlad lost power and was captured. He spent years imprisoned before eventually regaining the throne briefly. However, his rule would not last long. In 1476, Vlad was killed during battle. His enemies cut off his head and sent it to Constantinople as proof of his death. The terror that once ruled Wallachia was finally over. But Vlad's story did not end there. Centuries later, his terrifying reputation inspired one of the most famous horror characters ever created, Count Dracula. The bloodthirsty vampire legend was partly inspired by the real-life cruelty of Vlad the Impaler. Today, Vlad remains one of the most feared rulers in history, a man whose name became a symbol of terror itself. History remembers many kings, but only a few are remembered with fear. And among them, none are more infamous than Vlad the Impaler.